Grand Rising, darlings. Um, Grand Rising. Okay, look. This is what was on my mind when I woke up. This is how spell work works, okay? And this is specifically for politicians, okay? Um, I do not believe that all politicians are corrupt. I do believe, just like some police officers come in there, they really want to help. Um, but let's think about some things and how they have been deceived, okay? So like this would be like a police officer that polices an urban neighborhood under the falsehood that they need more policing. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Okay. Um. So I said that the last seduction law was removed in the 1950s. Okay, my parents were born in the 1950s, um, and so they had siblings that were already alive and well. The oldest probably being somewhere around 3 or 4 when the last, because I want to say the last one is 1952, but it could have been 1955. Okay, so the oldest child could be anywhere in between 2 and 6 years old when uh, these laws were removed. Okay, seduction laws, anti-emotional rape laws. Okay, a much smaller population. In fact, these seduction laws are the exact reason why when teenagers would get pregnant, they would be forced to marry. Okay, like everyone in our parents' generation knows someone who got married because they got pregnant young. And some of those couples worked out, you know what I'm saying? Some of them didn't. Some of them went really horribly wrong. Okay. And not everybody in our parents' generation, because I don't know how old your parents are. Okay. But in my parents' generation, it was a thing to marry because you got pregnant. Okay. Parents would come together and be like, hey, your son got my daughter pregnant. Now, what is you going to do about it? Well, Johnny, you going to marry that girl. All right. That's how it worked. Okay. Protecting the honor of the young woman by getting her married. Okay. Protecting the honor of the family by marrying the daughter. That was how shit went down for a very, very long time, even after. Okay. Because we see movies from like the 70s where that trend still was a thing 20 years later. But the problem is that, um, not everybody followed that after those laws were removed. That trend slowly phased out, especially by the time welfare was tweaked, right? So, in fact, that was probably the end of it, was in the 70s, because that's when welfare was tweaked. Um, okay, so um, if a child was only, or not even in existence, because my parents weren't in existence in 1955 and 1952, right? So if a child was very young or not even in existence, when it comes to tackle that issue in a court of law, they have no idea that those kind of laws even existed if they don't do the research. And we're talking about an era where there wasn't like the accessibility of me just looking up in my phone if there were seduction laws. You know what I'm saying? And especially, I don't know, I can't tell you off bat what states had it. So especially if the state they lived in did not have it, they wouldn't know anything about that. Their parents might not even know anything about that. So that lack of this spell work, I'm doing this for this spell work quotations. Um, it plays upon the lack of knowledge, right? So when that child grows up to be an adult and he goes into being a politician, instead of thinking, hey, let's just reinstate those, let's reinstate those seduction laws at a federal level. No, they're like, oh, we need to, we have a problem on our hands. We need to implement abortion laws at a federal level. We need to implement new laws for welfare at a federal level. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being like, oh, we have a problem on our hands. Let's reinstate the seduction laws, right? They know nothing about this. So then you you add the abortion law. Now, someone in there does know that's child sacrifice. Because if you ever noticed, people in Congress, people in the House are there for a long time. They don't get replaced unless they die most of the time. So someone there knows that has been the agenda, but some do not. You know what I'm saying? So those good politicians that really had were well-meaning end up signing on to the agenda of some who know exactly what the fuck is going on. They literally call it an agenda. On today's agenda, we have this bill, this bill, this bill. Okay. So, and especially when I say that the first thing that I ever saw about maternal deprivation was in the 1950s. The research and the studies going on in their little black and white videos. Here, this child was sent to 9 homes and had not been in contact with his mother for 9 months. His behavior is apathetic. Okay, yeah, they were researching that in the 50s at the same time that they removed the seduction laws. Okay, so there's someone somewhere that knew that it was not good for the children, it was not good for the mothers. And that's not to say that, forcing a man into marriage is good for him either. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. It affects everyone. When you go to attack one group, you are affecting everyone. All right. So then you get they're most of them are well-meaning. It's the lack of knowledge that allows the attacks to perpetuate. Okay, most people do not have common knowledge about narcissistic abuse. So when a narcissist comes and triangulates, and one of the funniest things I see, like if I would watch, I don't really watch that anymore. I try to avoid it because it can still be triggering to watch, and like it's more when you get in the comment section and someone's like, I would never allow that, that's ridiculous. It's like, yeah, you think you wouldn't, you think that you wouldn't, you actually probably have already participated in something and have no clue. You know what I'm saying? So that lack of knowledge there, or the arrogance surrounding it, like, because people think, man, how stupid do you have to be to fall for that? It has nothing to do with stupidity. They play upon the human side of you and the lack of knowledge about their mental illness. You know what I'm saying? There's so much lack of knowledge surrounding mental illness that is how the spell work, the witchcraft continues to perpetuate. You know what I'm saying? Like it's good that gaslight is the word of the year this year. The most, I think it was the most search word of the year. I just got 1010. Did it just pause my video? I think it right. My video just paused at 1010. My phone is 10% dead. Oh my god. I mean, it has 10% battery left. Like those all hit the screen at the same time. I like that. But that is, and it happened right when I said gaslight is the number one word of the year. It's looked up word this year. Meaning that people are there to get that education and to learn. You know, when I opened my Google yesterday, there were 3 articles about it: gaslighting in the workplace, um, secret, the manipulation tactic, 2 primary manipulation tactics of a gaslighter. Are you secretly being gaslit? You know what I'm saying? So people are definitely out there getting the knowledge because, you know, that's what helps to stop and break any spell work going on in your environment, because it is, again, something that has been going on for so long. The minute that they drop the seduction laws is when it became rampant and what we do on a regular basis without any knowledge about it. That is what was on my mind when I woke up this morning. And as I was thinking this over in the bathroom, when I looked up, there was a stink bug. You know, Ohio is one of those places that gets stink bugs really heavily in this time of year. But last year, I did not see nearly as many as I see this year. Um, and they tend to show up like that for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think something, and there it is. They're real heavy in Aaron's room right now too. Like, they're not in my room as much. They're in Aaron's room. They're in the bathroom, which doesn't really mean anything except for when you're thinking something and you look up and you see one, like, oh, confirmation. And bugs, just like the numbers, can have a lot of meanings, have a lot of different meanings. Um, so, you know, it doesn't always mean that, but I find that they seem, since I have the belief that it means intuition, because that's what it said the first time I ever looked it up. You know, it said different things since, but the first meaning when I looked it up, that's what I believe it to mean. So whenever I see one while I'm in deep thought, it's like, that's what you should talk about today. Witchcraft plays on your lack of knowledge. And I do not blame a lot of politicians, just a handful, the ones that have been there for damn near 100 years. You know what I'm saying? You knew. And there isn't anyone that's been there for 100 years, but there are some that have been there for a very long time. Okay, very long time. At any point in time, they could have fucking changed the world, but they chose to make money off of vices. Because this is about you being able to do what you want to do, right? When you have a lucky advantage to be a lawmaker, because anything that particularly bothers you, you could choose to focus on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, but I do know that there are some politicians that meant well, that had the right idea in mind when they went into office, and they have been susceptible to perpetuating witchcraft with no knowledge of it. And so this is for you to allow you to feel less guilt, because you did the best that you could do with the knowledge that you had. You thought that you were making choices for the people, based off the knowledge that you had, and there wasn't really a way to gain that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You would have to know that this was here in place before, and this was moved around, and this was changed. You just didn't know, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? But I hope for the future that. Very small implementations, very small. You don't have to tell people to stop having sex. No. You stop. Ugh, God, Indonesia. Indonesia. The fuck are you? Yo, did anybody hear that Indonesia has now made it against the law to have premarital sex, and they're going to try to implement that within the next 3 years? What? That's no different than removing the abortion law, because you would have to literally. What are you going to do to police that? How do you plan to police that? I don't know. It's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You don't have to police it that way. What you have to do is you have to. The only thing that you have to do is seduction laws. Do not entice people to have sex under false pretenses. Do not entice people to have sex by fraud. Um, sex by emotional rape, sex by making false promises. That's it. You do that, you change the entire dynamic, because everybody's going to be responsible about how they engage with others, because they know it's a sentence. The problem is not the sex. Sex is a very natural thing. It's one of the first things I learned in therapy growing up. Okay, I was in therapy when I was a teenager. Sex is natural. You cannot punish people for having sex. It causes sexual dysfunction and it causes abuse. So to be like, you cannot have premarital sex and it's against the law and you will be jailed, is going to, oh God, the level of rape, it's going to go sky high. It's going to go sky high, because then you're going to sexually frustrate people. They still need sex. They just need it in a healthy way that doesn't include embarrassing and humiliating themselves. Um, you know, being promised support and love and care, and then like, I got your panties. And you might be a little bit too much. Goodbye. Like, none of that. That's really all that needs to change around the world. I think in some parts of Asia it is a thing, because in China, I think it was China. It was either China or Japan. A man had gotten sued for like having 32 girlfriends or something like that, right? And it can't be China, because there was a woman that just did kind of the same thing, where she got all of them to buy her a phone, and then she bought a house with the phones. It can't be China. It's gotta be Japan. But well, and maybe it is, and it's not an even out law, because it should be for all parties. Women shouldn't be allowed to do it. Men shouldn't be allowed to do it. But I didn't hear anybody sue that woman for that. And okay, so sorry. Let me get back on track so you understand what I'm talking about. A man was sued for having like a lot of girlfriends, and they all bought him a birthday present. Okay, he got sued for that, even though the money that he got was like less than $500 in total. Okay, and gifts, which is really fucked up. Ladies, come on. Anyways, and then a man had sued a woman because she had surgery. She had plastic surgery, and he had a baby with her, and that child was extremely unattractive. Okay, we're just gonna put it like that. It's real unfortunate that anyone would like look at their child and be like, I mean, I guess it might be a little hard though, because all my children are really adorable. So, but I would have loved them anyway. But I think his problem was that he's so superficial, and he said he never would have married her if he knew that she had had so much surgery. Okay? So basically, he was saying that he was raped by fraud. These women that sue this man, it's also rape by fraud, right? So that's what it appears to me, if they can sue these men and women for stuff like that, wherever they are, that there is some kind of rape by fraud laws. In the case of the guy with the baby, it might have to do with like deception in order to get married, which can definitely annul a marriage, right? You can't. There are certain things that you can't do in order to get married in any state. in any, not in any culture, but the institution of marriage is very highly protected by things like that. But sex is not. Just regular sex is not. And that's the issue. And that is where the lack of knowledge about it has become a problem. I can't believe I've been able to talk about this for 20 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna try again. I'm actually kind of still sleepy, but I'm awake because it's my normal wake time. But I'm gonna try to go back to sleep now. But that was those were the thoughts that were on my mind when they were opened. Okay. Y'all try to have a wonderful day. I'll probably be back on at some point to do a reading. Aaron really wants to participate again. I'll see how well I feel about that, because when kids get happy and shit and they're just like content, they always make noise. And I can't focus. Like I can't hear the messages coming in. That's why I'll be like, hey, you gotta be quiet. I don't really mind. He can go in his room, and if you ever noticed when he goes in his room, it sounds like 3 kids in there. He can go in his room, but like right directly beside me in my ear, doing like, I can't, bro. Like, yeah. But he seems to really, because he pulled the cards out last night on his own and was chilling, right? That shit was really cute. What did he pull? I actually had made a video about it, but I'm not gonna post it. He pulled the Emperor. Hold up. What was that second card? Shit. I don't remember now, so I might have to post a video. He pulled his own cards. He pulled the Devil in reverse. He pulled 10 of Cups. He pulled... Sheesh, I can't remember. I know he pulled the World. He pulled 6 cards. 5 out of 6 cards were Major Arcana, but I can't remember. Excuse me, I can't remember now what they were. Oh, he pulled the Emperor, the Moon, the World, Devil in reverse, 10 of Cups, and what was that last card now? I don't know, but it was fire signs. Oh, the Strength card. Indication of like 3 fire signs, 2 earth signs, 3 water signs, and an air sign. So, however you want to interpret that, that's what he pulled yesterday. But he's been asking to do another reading. I might let him. We'll see how I feel. As long as I get it in within the next 2 days, I think we'll be good. And I never really said this either, but readings, I say energy for the next 2 weeks. And I really just mean I only do readings every 2 weeks. This energy is fluid. I don't know what I'm picking up, how long it'll take. I will say one of my readings, I had said that like a minimum of 68 people would be arrested, and in that same week, 90 people were arrested in Columbus because they're doing a project that I knew nothing about called Project Unity, where different organizations within the justice system work together in order to arrest for outstanding warrants, or I think it was just outstanding warrants. Okay, but those outstanding warrants had to do with like drug possession, car theft. I'm like serious offenses. Drug possession, it can go either way. See, that's one of those other things that is spell work, witchcraft, because they're arresting people and placing harsh punishment on drug addicts when I have shown you specifically that drug abuse is a result of a lack of chakra alignment, and that lack comes from abuse. You know what I'm saying? So again, another instance in where some of those healing things have been criminalized, okay, in order to make money. Oh my gosh, it just keeps coming up. But that reading actually happened, and the thing is, they have been, that was like their fourth sting, an assault. And I said that before too. There's been collaborations between states in order to get people for gun offenses and like unsolved cases. They really are trying their best to clean up the streets. I see it. There's a lot of effort going towards getting some of these unsolved crimes, or some of these people who have just been able to run the streets knowing that they did a crime. Um, and I will say that I did notice that. Um, I am, I receive, well, I used to, I don't now. But I used to pay attention to the DOJ and like how often they're rolling out with updates to laws, and so I'm gonna start doing that again. Um, but what I was saying is that I don't know how long the energy goes for. It's just, I do a reading, and I only do readings every 2 weeks. So I'm gonna try to go back to sleep now. I'm actually still pretty tired, and y'all, especially those who have to get up early and go work and shit like that, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I hope that no hard issues affect you today at work. Work is smooth for you. You know, if you're at home with your children, I hope that the day will be smooth. There is no hope, but the day will be smooth. Okay, you will enjoy it. Have a good day.